In this tutorial, we're going to go and make some little mini cactus. So let's go and get started. This is the first one that we're going to go and start off with. What you're going to need is some brown polymer clay to go and start off. I usually use a small piece of glass on a larger piece of glass to go and roll this out. And then I use a very thin metal tool to go and cut this. So after you have a little tiny piece, go and roll another piece out at the side, and this is going to be for the outer ridge of your pot or your planter. Now after that is rolled out, we're going to go and very gently put this around, and if there's any extra material that is at the end, you can just take it off. In the center, put down a very small amount of polymer clay. Make sure it doesn't go and overlap at the edge, and just go and use a rounded sculpting tool to go and press this down. And this is going to be some texture for where your plant is going to go and sit. Now let's take some green, let's roll this out as well, and then let's go and get this centered into the middle of our polymer clay planter. So after it's centered, we're going to go and use one of our rounded tools just to go and get it pressed into place. Do this very lightly, try to straighten it out a little bit, and then make some very small curved pieces. These, now you're just going to go and stick it onto that green piece of clay there. Use the tool that you have to go and put it in place. Let's put one more towards the top. Use your tool to go and blend it and put it into place. Make sure everything is separated a little bit. Now we're going to go and roll out some white polymer clay. This is going to make it look like there's some little spikies on the cactus. So roll that out nice and thin. Get it off to the side. Take your rounded sculpting tool, and then go and take little tiny pieces of it and stick it onto the cactus. These should look pretty spiky, of course, so it doesn't have to be perfectly rounded or anything like that, and these should be pretty small. Now put these all over the cactus, some on the little arms, some in the center, maybe some on the top, and now we're going to go bake it, and after it's baked, it looks like this. Now on to our next little plant. Now this is a little mini succulent. So it's going to be the same thing that we did before for the other one. We're going to go and start off with some brown polymer clay. Go and roll out the brown polymer clay. And now we're going to go and cut off a very small piece from this. This is going to be a little bit smaller than the other planter that we made. It's also going to be a bit flatter at the edges as well. So make sure to go and press that down a good amount. After it's pressed, now we're going to go and take some more brown polymer clay, roll that out nice and thin, and this is going to be for the edge of our planter. So after that is rolled out, which it will take a little bit of time, now we're going to go and put this around. And if there's any extra little piece that is left here, you can go and easily take it off. And then you can go and use it for maybe another craft that you want to go and do, or maybe your next planter. After that is on, we're going to go into the center and use one of our sculpting tools to go and adhere the outer ridge to the inner portion. I am using a sculpting tool that has a very small rounded piece on the end, and I do find that this works the best for this. Now after you've smoothed everything out in the inner portion and gotten the outer portion of this adhered, we're going to take some black polymer clay and put it into the center. Go and give that a little bit of texture. With your sculpting tool, make sure it doesn't go to the outer ridge. Spread it a very small amount, and that looks pretty perfect. Now let's go grab some green polymer clay, and we're going to make very tiny triangles with this. So for these pieces that are here, we're going to start off with the outer portion, and then we're going to very slowly move inwards. So go and shape some triangles with this. Stick these onto the outer portion here. Use your sculpting tool to, of course, go and stick these down and to move them into place. These ones that I'm going and putting together are going to be used for the center, and I'm just going to have that off to the side for the time being. Continue to go and stick down more of these triangles into the center, and you should have anywhere between 5 to 7 just on the outer portion until you start working on the inside. So as you're sticking these down, just be nice and careful because you don't want to really fully press too hard. Now we're going to move into the center with these two little ones that I stuck together before. Let's add one last one into the center. And here's this cute little succulent, which is so adorable. Now on to the next. This one I would just say is maybe just like a clustered tiny little cactus. So we're going to start off with some brown polymer clay. Let's roll that out slightly. And after that's rolled out, let's go and cut a small piece off of here. I do find that it's easier to roll the polymer clay while you're cutting, and it does allow for it to be just a bit flatter on the end. Take your piece of brown polymer clay. Let's go and actually get that a little bit circular at the end, but not too pointed. Roll that back over, and just very lightly press it. Now let's take some more brown polymer clay, roll that out nice and thin for the outer edge of our pot or our planter. Now let's go and put that around the rim of our planter. And after that is down, we're going to go and put some black polymer clay into the center. Go and press that down a little bit. Now we're going to go and take some green polymer clay, which you're going to need a very small ball of it, and we're going to make some leaves. So these should be pretty circular, and you don't want to press down on the piece of glass that you're using to go and get it nice and circular. So here we have one little tiny piece. Let's go and make some more. And as you're making these, try to make them of all different sizes, but don't make them too big. You want some that are small, you want some that are medium, and some that are larger. Now we have this little tiny piece that we're going to go and use as the stem. Let's stick that into the center there. Might need to use your sculpting tool to go and get it into place. This one is the smallest one that we have made so far for the little plants. Now let's take our little tiny pieces that are circular and stick them on. Let's start with the top. Slowly move down a little bit to the bottom. And as we're moving these, be nice and slow and gentle so you don't really go and move too much. Finish off the last few little pieces, maybe put one or two at the bottom. And here's what they all look like. These are just so incredibly cute and a lot of fun to make. Thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I have other tutorials that you can go and find over on my profile. Until next time, take care!